Everyone's talking about AI search, ChatGPT, Google's AI answers, and this new thing called GEO. But to win at any of it, you first need to understand what's actually happening under the hood. Let's break it down. This is how LLMs work, a practical guide for marketers. Part 1. What a large language model or LLM actually is. An LLM is a prediction machine. It doesn't look up answers in a stored library, it predicts the next word over and over until it has a written response. Think of it as autocomplete that went to college, the same next word guessing as your phone keyboard, but trained on a huge slice of the internet. And that's why it is in a search engine, which finds and ranks existing pages, and it is in a database, which stores exact records. It builds language from patterns, which is why it can rephrase, summarize, and blend ideas so fluently. So how does it learn to predict so well? There's 3 stages. First, pre-training. It reads a massive amount of text and plays one game billions of times. It hides the next word, guesses it, and checks against the real word and adjusts over and over. Second, fine-tuning. Extra practice on higher quality examples to sharpen its behavior. And third, human feedback, also called RLHF, which is short for reinforcement learning from human feedback. People rate its answers, and so it learns what we find helpful. The important part is what the LLM actually keeps. It doesn't store the pages it read, it stores patterns, billions of tuned dials, and not copies of documents. It's like a chef who read 10,000 recipes and now cooks from instinct. One consequence is, its built-in knowledge has a cutoff date, and so anything newer has to be looked up live. Keep this in mind as we will cover this in the latter half of the video. 2 concepts shape how the model handles language: tokens and embeddings. First, tokens. The model doesn't read whole words, it reads word pieces called tokens, roughly 3/4 of a word each, and that matters because length and cost are counted in tokens and not words. Second, embeddings. The model turns each word into a set of numbers that captures its meaning like coordinates on a map. Words with similar meanings sit close together. It's a map where synonyms are neighbors. In fact, the math works so well that you could do this. King minus man plus woman gives you queen. Meaning becomes math, and that's the same technology behind how AI finds relevant content. This is how the model builds an answer. It generates one word at a time, picking the most likely next word from a ranked list, adding it, then predicting again, like laying track in front of a moving train. There's a dial called temperature that controls how safe or how creative each pick is, which is why the same prompt can give you different answers on different tries. One caveat is essential for marketers. The model is optimizing for text that sounds plausible, but not text that's guaranteed true, so it can be confidently wrong. We call that a hallucination, and lowering the temperature does not fix it. Finally, the context window is its short-term memory, everything it can see at once. And that's why clear, specific prompts get better answers. Which raises a question. If the model is frozen at a training cutoff and sometimes makes things up, how do tools like ChatGPT and Google give current answers with real sources? That's part 2. Modern AI tools get around that cutoff with a technique called retrieval. The moment you ask a question, the tool searches the live web or specific set of content and pulls back the passages most relevant to your question. It hands those passages to the model, so the answer is grounded in real sources rather than just memory alone. And that grounding is what keeps the answer current and cuts down on hallucination. And because the response is built from specific sources, the tool can link straight back to them. This approach has a name, RAG, short for Retrieval Augmented Generation, and it is how ChatGPT, Google AI Overviews, Perplexity, Gemini, and Copilot all work. Here is why it matters to you. If your content is one of the sources the tool retrieves and trusts, your brand gets named in the answer. And that brings us to what matters most. Part 3. Why this matters for you as the marketer. The question is no longer whether AI answers matter, but how big they've already become. Google's AI overviews reach over 2 billion users a month. ChatGPT has around 800 million weekly users, and Google's Gemini app has 750 million monthly users. And roughly 6 in 10 Google searches now end without a single click, because people are getting their answer right there in the results. The model of discovery is changing. For 20 years, SEO was about ranking in the 10 blue links. The goal was not a top spot in a click, and success meant rankings and traffic. GEO, Generative Engine Optimization, is a different goal, being quoted and credited inside the AI answer. The currency isn't the click anymore, it's the citation. And this is the critical shift. Ranking number 1 no longer guarantees that you're the source AI quotes. In one study, only 38% of AI citations came from pages ranking in the top 10. But don't be quick to throw out your SEO, because GEO builds on top of it. The smart play is to do both. In practice, most of this is content and editorial work, not deep engineering. And it really comes down to 5 levers. Be clear. Put a direct self-contained answer right under a question-style heading, an answer capsule that the AI can lift cleanly. Show authority. Publish your own original data and earn mentions on places like G2, Reddit, and Wikipedia. Stay fresh. Genuinely update your pages because fresh content gets cited more. Be readable. Use clean structure and schema and don't accidentally block the AI crawlers. And finally, match intent. Answer the real question directly and early. To bring it all together, an LLM predicts rather than looks up. So it's fluent but sometimes confidently wrong and definitely worth verifying. Its answers are built from live sources it retrieves and cites, and so being cited is the new visibility. And that's why SEO and GEO are really one effort now, earning citations with content that's clear, fresh, authoritative, and easy for machines to read. Understand how the machine works, and you'll know which levers to pull. Thanks for watching.